The shocking truth this offseason isn't the size of the contracts being signed, but the deafening silence surrounding three former Pacific League champions, title holders and proven difference makers who are now twisting in the market wind, apparently forgotten by the big spenders. The common myth holds that pedigree guarantees a golden parachute, yet right now, a former dominant strikeout ace, a steady veteran with elite spin rates, and an electric defensive center fielder are being treated less like assets and more like ticking liabilities.
Welcome back to 606 Prime News, the only place breaking down the cold reality of the FA market, where championships mean less than the cost of a compensation player. The collective fate of Norimoto, Higashihama, and Tatsumi has become the ultimate case study in cold, hard organizational calculus, a dramatic reversal of fortune fueled by age, mileage, and the crippling threat of Jin-Teki Hosho, the human compensation system.
For months, we focused intensely on the big names, the consensus studs, but the real drama lies here, in the purgatory of the proven veterans. Let's start with Norimoto. The buzz around him was initially electric, the former Golden Eagle ace declaring his FA intentions with what essentially felt like a televised farewell to the fans, hinting strongly at a move. But nothing. Absolute radio silence from the Giants, from the Hawks, from everyone.
The Norimoto situation is an insult to the game, claims veteran journalist Hiroshi Tanaka. He practically gave a public farewell, expressing a deep desire for a new start. And yet his agent is now playing a dangerous game of chicken, likely over an amount as minor as 50 million yen. The whispers about his sudden trip to the US, the Tobey rumors,
they weren't about major league tryouts. They were about independent league contacts and perhaps minor league scouting, a strategic pressure play that frankly smells of desperation to force a decision. Norimoto's performance metrics are undeniably concerning. While his velocity remains respectable and his K9 rate was still a stellar 9.5 last year, his ERA ballooned to 3.85, a far cry from his sub-3.0 peak.
The organizational concern isn't skill, it's high mileage, and the belief that the agent is demanding multiple years when the market is only offering one plus an option. But while Norimoto's fate is driven by negotiation tactics, the case of Higashihama is far more systemic and terrifying for any veteran player. Higashihama is the victim of the calendar. He is 35 years old, and while his metrics, including an elite 3.2 FIP last season, show he still has gas in the tank, the organizational risk associated with acquiring him is astronomical. This is a simple cost-benefit analysis that kills careers, argues former scout Kenji Sato. A team could acquire Higashihama on a generous 2-year, $300 million deal, but the compensation cost is surrendering a protected young player, a 20-year-old, maybe a former first-round pick with 150 km/h potential, whom the acquiring team has invested millions in developing. For a 35-year-old nearing retirement, that organizational loss of future potential is fundamentally too high. It's not about his undeniable skill, it's about the actuarial risk of exchanging 1 or 2 good years for 10 years of control over a prospect. This reality logically refutes the common fan cry, "Just take the risk, he's a proven winner." No general manager in the league is willing to put their job on the line to acquire a high-risk veteran when they know that the compensation team will inevitably poach their most promising yet unprotected young talent. Higashihama is being silently blackballed, not for his ability, but for the rules surrounding his acquisition, forcing him into a corner where declaration of intent to remain with his current team, taking a necessary pay cut, becomes the only viable path. This brings us to the most complex and frustrating case, Tatsumi. His predicament is the climax of this FA drama, a blend of mediocre performance and confounding demands. He has the raw talent, a Gold Glove caliber outfielder, but his stat line of a .240 average and 7 home runs is simply insufficient for a premier FA signing. However, the true obstacle isn't the bat. It's the whispers surrounding his conduct and his stated objectives.
He hasn't been quiet about his desires. Tatsumi is openly demanding a club that values challenge and growth and a meaningful role over mere financial reward. What in the name of baseball is that even supposed to mean? The consensus among high-level team executives is clear.
When a player, even one who is demonstrably elite defensively, starts talking about meaningful work instead of production, the front office sees a behavioral liability, not an asset, confided one anonymous team official. I was present at the end-of-season awards ceremony, and his behavior, coupled with previous reports, was distracting. Teams fear that if they sign him, he's simply using them as a temporary platform, either for a minor league attempt overseas, or worse, that his attitude will sour the clubhouse. His priority is not winning, it's his personal narrative.
The great irony is that Tatsumi, by trying to be philosophical and selective, has come across as utterly indecipherable, making his intentions too risky for any organization to invest in heavily. He is caught in a self-inflicted limbo, valuing perceived challenge over tangible reality, which means no serious offer is likely to materialize until he drastically lowers his expectations, both financially and philosophically.
The ultimate plot twist is that these three former Titans were not forgotten by the league. They were assessed, analyzed, and categorized as toxic assets. Norimoto by his agent's inflexibility, Higashihama by systemic compensation risk, and Tatsumi by his own confusing demands and questionable conduct. This FA window proves that being a title holder only gets you to the negotiating table. The fine print, the age, and the intangible reputation are what actually seal the deal. If you were a general manager, faced with the Hobson's choice of signing a three-time All-Star like Higashihama and sacrificing a top pitching prospect as compensation, what is the logical move? Tell us your thoughts below. Don't let this kind of deep-dive analysis get lost in the noise. Please like this video, share it with your baseball friends, and subscribe to 606 Prime News for the unflinching truth behind Japan's biggest sports stories.